Ella, 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 we've got Whitby, go see Dracula. Come on then. So I begin today's adventure in Whitby at Royal Crescent. Now if you sweep round, it's this cream coloured building right there, that's number 6. And that's where Bram Stoker used to stay. He would reside there for the 6-year period when he was in Whitby, when he wrote the book, when he wrote Dracula. Number 6, Whitby Civic Society, Bram Stoker, 1847 to 1912, author of Dracula, stayed here 1890 to 1896. How freaking cool is that? And looking back from 6 Royal Crescent, you can actually look out towards the North Sea. Transformers, robots in disguise. I'm just approaching the whale bones. It's another pretty popular tourist attraction here. So Whitby itself, it's not just all about Dracula. Captain Cook also has a few monuments here, because this was another part of the world where he visited. So right next to the whale bones, there's a Captain Cook statue. And here it is. There's Captain Cook himself with a seagull on top of his head. I don't tend to like reading out plaques online. What I want to do is show you, and you can pause the video if you want to read it. But it was a plaque presented by the people of Canada to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the birth of Cook. You impressed with that, Ella? There's actually a Captain Cook museum here if you wanted to learn more about the history of Captain Cook within the town itself. He first came to Whitby when he was only 18, an apprentice to a Whitby ship owner. You should get all that information if you go down into the museum. Lots of plaques around the town telling you stories of Whitby, not just of Dracula, but of the whaling, the fishing industry. One such story here about the Whitby whalers. The sign's a bit weathered now, unfortunately, because it's right on the cliff top. But it's placed strategically right next to the whale bones. What I like about the actual whale bones is if you stand at a certain angle, the abbey is centered directly in the middle of the whale bones, as you can see there. The abbey over on the west cliff, on east cliff. How amazing and cool. Famous Whitby ghost walk, anybody? We're just gonna have a little wander down here to go and look at a bench. As I said, there's not much here to commemorate Bram Stoker. You would think there'd be a lot more here than is, or to commemorate the story of Dracula. But one such commemorative feature is this bench. So I find myself at the top of Khyber Pass here, looking across Whitby Harbour. The swing bridge going across to the old town over here. You can see the 199 steps going up to the Abbey and St Mary's Church. Tate Hill Beach down there with people on the beach itself, and that's where in the novel Dracula's ship foundered, was wrecked upon that beach, and then the black dog that was Dracula ran up the 199 steps up to the Abbey. But if I pan around to where I'm standing, this is Bram Stoker's bench, and not many people realise it's actually here. So just to read what it says there, the view from this spot inspired Bram Stoker, 1847 to 1912, to use Whitby as the setting of part of his world-famous novel, Dracula. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So I'm now going to head over. We are going to cross over there. We'll have to go through the town, past all the amusement arcades, all the shops, the fish shops, the restaurants, everything, the chip shops. Because one thing Whitby is very famous for is its fish and chips. So we're going to walk through, go across the swing bridge into the old town where all the trinket shops, as I like to call it. It's very reminiscent of York and the Shambles. Some quite quaint little streets through there. And we're going to meander all the way through and head on up the 199 steps all the way up to the top of the Abbey. And I'll continue telling you some of the story of Dracula, where the inspiration for the novel came from, some of the sites that are actually in the book. Cute little cobbled streets. It's eventually going to spit us out into the amusement arcades, the fish shops, the gift shops, the trinket shops. So we walk down through the back here, and then all of a sudden you come to this little turn, a bit like a snickle way, drop down a few steps and it takes us on to the busy part of Whitby town. Oh, the quayside. That's one of my favourite fish and chip restaurants in Whitby. It's probably not dog friendly, so I don't think we'll be going in there today. So we're just going to wander through here to get to the old part of the town, across the swing bridge, and then we'll head on up the 199 steps up to the Abbey. It's beautiful coming to Whitby on a day where the sun's out. It makes such a difference. Coffee house steps. And this is the Dracula experience. Oh. You've got to go in to see that. I actually went on a boat ride one summer here. I've just come back from Florida for the very first time. We went in 2013 and I was wearing an Expedition Everest red baseball cap, which I absolutely loved. We went out on the Endeavour, the replica of the Endeavour. It's like a mini boat you can go out in. While we were out in the sea, the cap came off my head and I lost it. I was absolutely gutted. So I got in touch with Walt Disney World merchandise team, who agreed to send me another one over, which ended up costing me about $80 to get it back by the time we factored in customs charges. Where's Ella? There she is. Hey, you. Ah, I could spend pretty much all day just wandering around the Abbey itself. But as I say, because we've got Ella with us today, we ain't going to do that. But we are going to go up the 199 steps. We're going to go down onto the beach where the Dmitri of Varna shipwrecked. Here we go. Can you see what I mean about how it's reminiscent to the Shambles in York? It's only on the other side of the swing bridge where you get these touristy shops and quite ornate shops. Very similar to York. Oh, check out some of this seafood. How nice. The size of that. I'm generally going to stay away from seafood from now after my incident on Christmas Day with the lobster. I think it's probably wise if I don't go too much into that. Another ghost walk meeting point. Lots of ghost walks happen in this town. So we wander up to the end of this cobbled street, where we'll hit the start of the 199 steps that takes us up to the Church of St. Mary's and the famous Abbey. Duke of York, nice pup. Ooh, dogs are welcome as well. Shall I? So we're going to go down onto Tate Hill Beach here. And there's an interesting sign down here that tells you a little bit of history about the Dmitri, the ship, the actual real shipwreck that happened, which Bram Stoker took his influence for his novel. I'm not sure if she can be off the lead here. So in this sign, if you draw your attention to the top left here, and on that picture there is the wreck of the Dmitri of Varna, which ran aground in August 1885. Bram Stoker visited Whitby and the wreck was an inspiration for his famous novel Dracula, which was published in 1897, in which he renamed the ship Dmitri of Varna. So there you go, based on a real shipwreck that happened here on Tate Hill Sands. There's all these cute little accommodation houses where you can stay. I think through booking.com there's a lot of these accommodations. They're very popular, they're fully booked out during the summer months. But these are really popular to come and stay on your visit in North Yorkshire from Whitby. There we go, North Star Cottage. 2-bedroom cottage open all year round. 2 ways to get up to the Abbey and the church. The steps, which most people take these days. Now you've got this cobbled road. So back in the day when there was a lot of funerals up at the church, if you were rich, you could go up in a horse and cart and take the road where this big black dog's coming down now. Ooh. Dracula was a big black dog that ran up the steps. How funny that there's one coming down. So this is a Church Lane Donkey Road, it's called. A Grade 1 listed structure. Yeah, so you would take your way up to the church in a horse and cart with the casket in the back. You impressed, Ella? Come on then. The thing to do would be to count all the steps, but we're not going to do that. But trust me, there are 199. I have done it before. It's not as tiring as you would think. There's lots of little breaks where there's benches where you can sit and have a rest, if needs be. Every time I come here with Mum, she needs to have a little rest on the benches. Come on, Ella. Come on. So in the novel, when the ship wrecked on the beach, Dracula in the form of a big black dog ran all the way up these steps, all the way up to the abbey. There's a bench. Now here's an interesting fact. The benches themselves were not put there for members of the public to rest on who were tired. They were actually for funeral pallbearers to rest coffins on the way up to the church. So you would rest the coffin on there rather than a tired bum. What an amazing cemetery. It's perched right on the cliff top, overlooking the sea. Yeah. So another little piece of Bram Stoker history for you here. The very first victim from the book from Dracula was a fella called Swales. Now, not many people realise this or know this, but the grave, there is an actual tombstone in this cemetery that says Swales. Now, I've done a little bit of detective work and I've worked out where exactly it is in the cemetery grounds because I was struggling to find it. But I think I've located it. Again, it's a real person. But from the novel Dracula, you can almost miss the headstone. But when you first enter off the top of the steps and you come into the church, this headstone here, you've got to look out for it. So don't wander too far in like I did. So pretty much at the entrance, if you come over, it's a bit weathered. It's a bit sea battered, obviously being right on the cliff tops here, but you can just make out the words. Swales, S-W-A-L-E-S. The very first victim from the Dracula novel. Cool is that? It's history coming alive right here in Whitby, North Yorkshire, folks. How stunning is that? Sunset across the town of Whitby and beyond. The North Yorkshire Moor is heading in that direction. We started our adventure today over there on the west cliff where the whalebones are, where Royal Crescent is, where Bram Stoker used to spend his time whilst here visiting Whitby, getting his inspiration and influence for the world famous gothic novel Dracula. That is a beautiful sunset happening right now. The Abbey, looking splendid in this dusk sunlight, just as the sun sets over the town there. As I said, I'm not going in the Abbey today, but I will come back at some point because it's well worth going. It's ancient ruins, where Coldplay played, no less, in 2021 when their new album came out. Coldplay and Dracula connections here in Whitby today, with the Abbey in the distance, and the sun setting in the window there, and setting for real behind the town of Whitby. So thanks for joining me on today's adventure to Whitby, where I've been telling you a little bit about the history of Bram Stoker and the connection to Dracula, and also Whitby's connection to Coldplay. I've just got to get that one in there. Live the life you love this life you live. Get out there and explore. I'll be back tomorrow, as usual.